All right, next up is our longtime friend and the NFL and CBS lead play-by-play voice, calling the Super Bowl here, longtime host of the Masters, and hosted March Madness for a long, long time as well. Coming up Sunday at 1 Eastern on CBS and Paramount Plus, CBS Sports will present You're Looking Live, the show that changed sports television forever. Brent Musburger, Jim Nantz, Greg Gumbel, James Brown share their memories of hosting that show. We bring in the great Jim Nantz. Hello, friends.
Great to see you.
Marvin.
Always great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello,
Looking
friends.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking
Wow.
good. Yeah.
That
Do
is-
you have a tan for the Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
No, you look like you got a tan going on there.
I don't think so, big guy.
All right, great to see you.
No, I was in Pebble last week. All we had was rain.
Yeah, that's true.
Baltimore before that, and
Oh, that's right.
2 weeks in Buffalo in a blizzard. So
Maybe it's a wind burn that you
I
have
was
there.
sitting by one of these
Heaters?
Heaters, so that may have been it.
You have this show coming up this Sunday, and it's really celebrating, CBS Sports, CBS, the NFL show on CBS. Why is Brent Musburger not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, I was listening to you this morning, and I could not believe it when you were able to figure that out, crack the code. I have so many people that I've advocated for through the years, players and coaches, like Hank Stram, my longtime partner. He didn't get the honor until, sadly, he was already deep in the throes of Alzheimer's, and I went to attend his induction. I had been leading a writing campaign to try to get Hank in. And there have been other cases, but like Brent's omission, it's stunning. I had no idea. I'm in. You're in, right?
No.
Okay, we're going to do that next.
No.
Okay.
Get Brent in. Get Brent in.
I would give my place in Canton. I would. I'm going to write. I heard you say
Wait,
you're
you
going to
give
write.
it to Brent or me?
Flip a coin?
No, give it to Brent.
No, I definitely want
Absolutely.
to give it to Brent.
Yeah,
I
give it
love
to
Brent. I admire him so much.
Now, this is the Pete Rozelle Award for the Pro Football Hall of
I was
Fame.
going to say the Pete Rose Award.
No.
Pete Rozelle Award. It is, and that is what gets you in the Hall of Fame from our industry.
Yeah.
And it's a great honor. And I went in 2011, and all this time I've been thinking Brent had to be one of the charter
but
guys
Jim,
in there.
John Facenda wasn't in.
Wow.
I took up the campaign and wrote the letter, and I said, this is embarrassing. The voice of the NFL is...
Frozen tundra.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they put him into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Look, this show that's going to be on Sunday, You Are Looking Live, you just promoted it, is going to really showcase for people how much that impacted the NFL, the popularity of it. And Brent was the guy. I mean, he was the ringleader. I had this special thing on Monday night. I had dinner with Brent coming into Vegas, and I have a checklist of things I want to do. Most of it's already allotted to meeting with teams and production meetings, but I really wanted more than anything. I wanted to sit down and have dinner with Brent, and we had that occasion Monday night. It meant the world to me to be able to just sit back and be regaled for 3 hours by Brent. And we worked together for a long time. I was his understudy on a lot of different properties, and I traveled with his crew, say on college basketball. I was host, and he was sitting courtside with Billy Packer before I succeeded him there, or the Masters, or whatever it might be, college football. And I watched him, and I idolized him. And I really could not even muster up enough courage to be able to bang out a complete sentence, a cogent thought. I was tongue-tied. I really was. And that's when I was 26 and I got hired in 1985. So now I'm 64 and I figured, it's about time I get over this. So nervously, I called him. I was scared to death to punch in the phone number. So he answered, "Hello, Jimmy." And I said, "Brent, Mr. Musburger, can we have dinner?" And sure. So it all came together, and I'm happy to say, I don't know whether it's after one cocktail or just maybe I just felt comfortable enough after all these years, I was able to have a real conversation with a friend and a mentor.
But did you, when he got fired or let go by CBS, then you took over. That was at the Final Four in
Denver. It was April 2nd, 1990. I was the host, so when I was with him the night that CBS parted ways with him, Brent and Billy and I had to go do something for CBS sales. We came back to the hotel and they told him it was over. I was not in that meeting when they told him that, but I rode to the game with his brother Todd, who I still admire deeply, and when he said his goodbye on the air, it was the famous, "I've had the greatest seat in the house," he threw it back to me. And now I'm still in my 20s. Here's Brent Musburger, who I worshipped as a kid, and I've got to sum it up, say on behalf of the network how much we appreciate him. And I was mortified by how I was going to handle it. I had to ad-lib it off account to the end of the show. UNLV, by the way, had just won the national championship that night and had beaten Duke by 30, but we all wanted to see how the farewell was going to take place. Can I tell you the first place I kind of met him?
Sure.
I met him at the 1983 Final Four. He was hosting then. Gary Binder was calling the games with Billy Packer.
So that's Albuquerque?
It's Albuquerque and it's Houston,
Yeah.
my alma mater,
Oh.
against NC State. And the Houston basketball program was my gateway into the industry. Still to this day with Kelvin Sampson, I love the team. That's my team. But back then, Guy Lewis was great to me. I hosted his show. And anyway, I got to Albuquerque. I rode in to the pit on the team bus. And I didn't sit on the bench, but I found a place to sit. And when I walked into the arena, well before broadcast time, game time, I saw the CBS set. And Brent was up there rehearsing the elements of the show. So I went over and took the seat right up against, closer than we're sitting together right now. And he was on a platform, a riser, so he's above me. But his shoes were right here. I could have shined his shoes, and I would have.
You would
I
have.
really would have. But I watched him do, "All right, everybody, welcome to the national championship game." And I watched him, and I was riveted, and I was awed that I was in his universe. And I even then, honestly, it's the first time I saw him, but I didn't have the courage. I was the only person there. He probably was thinking, "Why is this kid like in my space?" And I probably, looking back, should have said, "Mr. Musburger, I just want to say hello." But 3 years later, I was sitting in that chair, and now he's calling the games. And I'm the host, and I'm sitting on that riser. And it all happened lightning fast.
He's Jim Nantz, NFL on CBS, the lead play-by-play voice calling the Super Bowl. I'm curious when you get in these production meetings and wait a minute, you're turning away. Like,
Well, I don't like having my back to my guys here. It's...
okay.
By the way, I saw Fritzy on Las Vegas Boulevard last night. He was face planted on the sidewalk.
Very klutzy.
I tried to help. You remember this, don't you?
I no comment, Mr. Nantz.
You know, somebody was there handing out cards. You had a whole fistful of them in your hand, and you were down, just face planted on the sidewalk. And I said, "Are you okay?" You had a little cut on your forehead.
Yeah, cut on his
Yeah.
leg as well.
Yeah.
We saw them. All right, so the production meeting.
Yes.
How much say do you have in how often you're going to show Taylor Swift?
0. I react. I don't tell Mike Arnold, our director, how to do his job.
But how often, like, how much is too much and how much is not enough, in your opinion?
It's
for Super Bowl.
Listen, it's all about instincts. The way I call it, the way he directs it, Mike, it's got to be a feel thing. Kelsey makes a big play, he's going to cut to her for a second or two. That doesn't mean it needs commentary with that shot. It just kind of blends in with the replay and another crowd shot. But I've never said on the cough switch, "Hey, give me a shot of Taylor right now." And there's been this uproar about how much we're showing her, and I don't get it. At the AFC Championship game, Travis had a huge part in their win, and they cut to her a number of times. But in the end, someone did this study on it. It was 44 seconds. Is how long she was on our 3-hour and 15-minute broadcast. So he has great judgment, our director. And so does Jim Rickoff, of course, our producer. They'll figure it out. There's not a single word said about, we're going to show her here, here, and here. And I probably 99% of the time, because I've had 8 games with her present, I don't even reference the fact, well, there's Taylor. Tony's had a few times where he's jokingly said, "Well, there's his wife." So I said, "What?" Not yet. Yeah, you know something we don't know, but it's all part of the shtick.
Okay, we've been doing this the last couple of weeks here. It's an homage here. Are you ready for this? Do you know what's happening here?
No.
Okay, I'm going to play you.
You've had the sound-alike contest.
Yes,
for
I
years.
have. You didn't. One year you didn't win the Jim Nantz sound-alike contest. You finished second in the Jim Nantz sound-alike contest.
You know, there's AI out there now.
Yes, there
there's
is.
a lot of that stuff going on out there with sound-alike. So go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to play you. Seton is going to play Tony. Okay.
I have heard a time or two Seton doing his thing. But
Okay,
let's
here we go.
watch
Here we
this.
go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Coming up after the game, 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast. Also, a new episode of The Equalizer and Young Sheldon. Now back to the game. 3rd and 8, Tony. What do you expect to happen here?
Well, I don't know, Jim. I mean, you got to look at McCaffrey here. Do you go to Kittle? Don't forget about Purdy's legs. What would you do, Jim?
So what do you think?
I felt like I was in the booth for a minute there. It really felt authentic. Tony!
That's so great.
Well, I have so much fun sitting with Tony at a game, or standing most of the time. It's just nothing quite like it.
But I mentioned this, that you make it look easy because you're great at what you do. When Tony gives you something and it sort of hangs there, you kind of have to either acknowledge, grab it, bring it back to the game, or just go back to the game.
Depends on where they are with the snap.
And it's not that easy because time-wise, and this is what, Tom Brady's going to have to learn, that you may know more football than anybody. Can you say it in 20 seconds or 15 seconds? Or somebody says, hey, you got 12 seconds. They're counting down, or they may say, get it back to Jim, and you've got to get it back and go 3rd and 8, And it's not easy to do that.
No, the transition lines segues are really key at anything we do in this industry.
What are some that you
Well, the one I
could rely
remember
on?
when you just said this, we were calling Kansas City hosting Buffalo on December 10th. Buffalo came into the game 6-6. They had to win the game. They were 3 games down to the Dolphins. And this is mid-December. And I'm being counted off the air. And I'm like, 20 seconds. So on behalf of Tony and Tracy.
Now, once again, this is how it sounds in Jim's ear. I'll be the producer or director going, all right, ready? All right, Jimmy, you got 20. Then I'm gonna
So
go
60 Minutes is coming up
18,
next. What a win
18,
tonight for the
18,
Buffalo Bills, for Tony and all the crew.
15,
Jim,
14,
you know what?
13,
the Bills could still
12,
be the winners
11,
of the AFC East.
10,
Well, Tony, I got to
9,
tell you, a lot
8,
would have to happen for
7,
that to occur.
6,
the Dolphins
5,
will really have to fail.
4,
We'll see you next
3,
week. You've been
2,
watching the NFL on
1.
CBS.
Let's go!
That was the two-way conversation and the third conversation in my ear. And that really happened.
That's
he
what
brought
happens.
up this scenario, a Romo Stradamus moment, which I'm happy to have been the one that tagged him with that title. But he brought it up with about 12 seconds to go, going off the air after this monster win by the Bills, that they could still win the division. So there are a lot of layers to how you would answer that and get off and hit 0.
Now, is he told 12 seconds, or is he just...
No, he hears it.
Oh, and you're going, okay, I got to do the math here. Okay, it's 12,
Yeah,
11.
it's all
10.
coming down.
Grab
And
it. Or your director
I
will
had
say,
to
grab
tag it. I
it,
couldn't
grab
let
it.
that just be out there. They could not start a new count because in New York, at the broadcast center, the CBS broadcast center, they're going to roll a series of commercials that lead up to 60 minutes on that
Except
count.
on the West Coast.
Except on the West Coast.
West Coast. Are you nervous
Sitting
for
here
the
with
Super
you?
Bowl? No,
Oh,
no.
well,
I mean,
I am
with
kind of
me.
right now with you
Okay.
guys. I love being on your show.
But right before the kickoff.
I won't be as nervous as I was when I said goodbye to Brent on the air. I was young then and didn't have the wealth of experience I have now. You know, I'll lean on the fact that I have been a part now of 9 Super Bowl broadcasts. And, you know, I've been there. I'm not taking it for granted ever. I'm filled with gratitude. It's more emotional for me that I'm doing this than it is nervousness. There's the excitement that you're about to go on this journey, and it's all improvisational speaking. You're reacting to what you see. There's nothing scripted. So you're about to go on this new frontier, embark, and I'm just grateful. It's hard this much time being in the city leading up to it, and the game, I'm ready for it to take place right now without a note or a spotting board in front of me.
Yeah.
If they broke out and played a game here at the Fontainebleau, I'm ready to go. But I'm appreciative more than anything. I am. I will have some things that calm me a little bit. I'll bring people.
Liquor?
Yeah, no.
No, I mean, no.
I'll
no
have
liquor.
no. I'll have inside. Now, this say that you know me. We know each other really well. So this sounds like something I would do. But on my inside of my CBS blazer, where you have the eye patch here, we all have a little pocket inside. Yeah. So I will have a baseball card of Jack Whitaker, who was a great friend of mine, and I delivered his eulogy when he passed. He called Super Bowl I. I'll have Mr. Whitaker right there. I'll have a sobriety coin that was given to me by Pat Summerall, who I was also an understudy for. And Pat called more Super Bowls than anyone in history. In the last 20 years of his life, he tried to help a lot of people. Yeah. And he was on the board at Betty Ford, and I know what that represented to him. And it was his 20-year coin, I believe, and Jerry, his widow, gave it to me. And Pat was an idol. And I want Pat to be represented at the Super Bowl, so he's there. And then I have a picture that I brought of my mom. It's the first time I called Super Bowl without either one of my parents being alive. I know I'm not young, but it still hurts. And I want her to be there right up against my heart. And I'll have a tie on. I guess I'm not supposed to say which tie I'm wearing because I know there are odds out there which color I'm going to wear. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But those who know me and have seen a certain tie that I wear at a lot of big events, it's called a forget-me-not tie. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to forget my dad, who battled Alzheimer's. So it's a tie that has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Nantz National Alzheimer's Center in Houston that's named for my dad. And I will have that tie on. So I'll have all those things represented. And when I think about they're here, all over me, I'm calm.
Would you like a picture of me to maybe put in the blazer as
If you have one, I'd take it. I'm serious. If you have one, I will have it there. I will, because you're a great friend.
All right.
And I have to say, because I haven't been on in a while, I get asked about when you're going back on Dan's show. I love you on Dan's show. So it's always been an honor.
You have an open invite.
Thank you. Send me a card.
Jim Nantz.
I'll take a picture of that being inside of my breast pocket.
I'm going to see if I can have somebody give you a picture and you can put it there.
Something we can fit. Not an 8x10.
I was thinking of a large. Okay, so not a larger one. Yes, Paul.
I was going to say, we have 8x10 glossies, Mr. Nantz. I don't know if they're going to fit in your breast pocket.
He's calling the Super Bowl again, but you are looking live, the show that changed sports television forever. That'll be Sunday at 1 Eastern.
I'm a part of that.
On CBS.
It's a big show.
So thanks for joining us
Let's
again.
get Brent in the Hall of Fame.
We will.
That's good. We'll do it together.
All right, we'll close up shop here at the Fontainebleau after this.